Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the Co-Star, the official newspaper of the Borough of Belmar, and the Asbury Park Press on December 22nd, 2021, and notice of this meeting was posted on the bulletin board. A roll call, Councilman Brennan.
Here.
Councilwoman McKinney.
Here.
Mayor Walsifer.
Here.
Councilman Carvelli.
Here.
And Councilman McCracken is absent.
Everybody can join me in saluting the flag of our great nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody remain standing for a minute, for a moment of silence for our troops, their families, all our first responders. And I have to mention Tom Burke has passed away since our last meeting. He was a planning board member, he was a member of the Environmental Commission, and a member of the BBP. So, thank you. Okay, a couple things for workshop. I don't know if anybody had seen Lake Como, where Spring Lake had got a grant and was doing their side of the Lake Como. They were doing their walkways and cleaning up their whole side. Well, now Lake Como is going to do theirs, so we're looking to piggyback with them and do our B Street down the rest of the way, so it should look nice. And if you can bring us up to date on...
Sure, Mayor.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Both Spring Lake and Lake Como have an, excuse me, an open space grant, which is a matching grant. We were unaware when Spring Lake started the project. We were made aware, excuse me, when Lake Como started theirs, up until recently we found out. So I'm working with both the administrators in Spring Lake and in Lake Como to piggyback on their projects to try to get the entire lake with that walking path. We're also dealing with the county. We've got correspondence with Paul Gleitz, who runs that program in the county. So hopefully we'll get some help with some money that's left over in the open space grant. I've talked to our chief financial officer in regards to our capital project, and so if we are able to jump on board, we will.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Treasurer?
Yeah, that's really great.
And if you can just give us an update, I know we have a petition for the skate park and everybody doesn't think we're doing anything, but if you can just give us an update on some of the things that you've been working on in the skate park.
We're trying to get grants to the skate park. There's some things that we found out in regards to the Tony Hawk Foundation. It's now the skate park grant program. They're not accepting applications at this time, but we're trying to work through that. We're learning quite a bit about what you can get from a grant, what you can't, depending on the economics of the area that you live. Also, interesting enough, they won't give a grant for anything made out of wood. It's got to be designed from concrete by a qualified, experienced skate park contractor. So we're trying to work through the budgetary issue of obtaining grants from different organizations. I know there are private citizens trying to do the same. So we continue to try to find the funding for the skate park. We're maintaining it as, we wanted to maintain it as a safe area. There's some confusion about the insurance company. The insurance company deemed it unsafe. We had a skate park contractor look at it, said it has outlived its useful life. That's why we posted it. There's some speculation of what's going on with the skate park, that they won't insure it. It is insured. They are telling us that it should not be used. So it's like if your insurance company tells you not to use something, if something is dangerous, and let's just not even talk about the insurance part of this whole aspect. Let's talk about our kids and the people that would use it, the young adults or anybody of any age that would use a skate park. We don't want anybody hurt. At the end of the day, you don't want anybody hurt. Insurance is there to protect us, but we don't want anybody hurt. So we're working on trying to get some grants and see how we can move forward to get that up and running. It's an important part of our foundation here in Belmar. just like all of our other recreation programs, whether it be the parks or with the swings and everything on the beach. We got here in January of 19, Mayor, and what we put into place in the budget is to make sure all those parks are inspected, because those parks do wear out. The slides and the swings wear out. So we have that money in our budget to make sure that, first of all, that it's safe for anybody that's using it, and second of all, replacing things as needed, so we don't get past their life expectancy either. So we continue to work on all of our recreation projects, skate park as well as our parks.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for the administrator? All right, I think that's all we have for workshop right now. Proclamations. I know this is Municipal Clerk Week, and we really do appreciate everything that April does for us and the hard work that she does. So, Councilwoman Kinney is going to read the proclamation, and but we want to thank her for everything she does.
Yes, thank you, April. All of you here. Okay, this is the 53rd Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week, whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Court, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and the agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of the Professional Municipal Clerk. Now, therefore, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Belmar do recognize the week of May 1st through May 7th as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, April Claudia, and to all professional municipal clerks for their vital service they perform and their extraordinary, exemplary dedication to the communities they represent.
Thank you, and congratulations. And we have one more for Building Safety Month. Councilman Brennan, you want to handle that?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay. It's not as much fun as Municipal Clerks Week, but it's important. Whereas the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, is committed to recognizing our growth and strength depends on the safety and economic value of the homes, buildings, and infrastructure that serve our citizens, both in everyday life and in times of natural disaster. And whereas our confidence in the structural integrity of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. And whereas these guardians are dedicated members of the International Code Council, a U.S.-based organization that brings together local, state, and federal officials that are experts in the built environment to create and implement the highest quality codes to protect us in the buildings where we live, learn, work, worship, play. And whereas these modern building codes include safeguards to protect the public from hazards such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, floods, and earthquakes. And whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors of public safety, our local code officials, who assure us of safe, sustainable, and affordable buildings that are essential to our prosperity. And whereas Safety for All Building Codes in Action, the theme of Building Safety Month 2022, encourages us all to raise awareness about planning for safety and sustainable construction, career opportunities in building safety, understanding disaster mitigation, energy conservation, and creating a safe and abundant water supply to all our benefit. And whereas each year in observance of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to us by local and state building departments, fire prevention bureaus, and federal agencies in protecting lives and property. Now, therefore, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Belmar, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2022 as Building Safety Month.
Thank you, Councilman. That's why I didn't read it. All right, that's all we have. April, petitions?
Yes, I received an online petition from James Salmon of Wall, New Jersey, entitled Save Belmar Skate Park 2022, and it's been circulated to the Mayor and Council.
Okay, we'll review that. Approval of minutes.
Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 19th meeting?
Make the motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
All right, reports of council. Councilman Cardone?
Thank you, Mayor. I actually don't have anything to report on this week, but I did just want to thank April once again for all that she does. To be quite honest, I don't understand how she gets it all done. So, thank you. That's my report.
Great, thank you. Councilman Brad?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't really have anything to report except do want to remind people that not this weekend, but the weekend after the 14th and 15th is a townwide yard sale. I know there's a list here in Borough Hall. Is it past the time to sign up, or?
I don't know. We're still accepting applications.
Okay, so if you want, I have some stuff that you want to sell and you want to be on the list that people can find, you just come up to Borough Hall and get yourself put on the list. It's been a great event. It's really well received every year. It's been going on for years and years. And I encourage you all, if you have something, you know, the way I always pictured it when my wife was talking about she wanted to start it like that long ago, put out some stuff that you know you think you might be able to get some money for, and put out some stuff that you don't care if you get money for. Put out free stuff. Label it free. Let people take it. You'll clear out your space. You'll be purging your space in your house, making more room to fill it up with more junk. And it's always a really, really fun. If the weather's supposed to be great that weekend, so it should be a really nice event. Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman King.
Thank you, Mayor. So I have a couple things this week. First thing, we had our ADA meeting last week on April 28th at the Belmar Library. One of the main things everybody wanted to know about was when Taylor Pavilion was going to be fixed. It was confirmed that Taylor Pavilion will be open by the concert on May 9th. So I know that there's the Belmar Cares Group, Belmar Cancer Support Group is doing their Atlantic Wind Ensemble, and that is going to be from 7 to 8:30, and it will be in Taylor Pavilion. Correct, Eddie? Mr. Business Administrator Christian Bill?
Bill Musto and his crew Bill Musto and his crew worked with the remediation people to get it squared away, and he called me at, I think it's 3 o'clock today, and said that we take it back tomorrow morning. So it's open for business.
Great job.
Thanks for your job, for all you did, Billy.
Good job, Billy. Thank you. Okay, so Circle of Friends is also gearing up for their big fundraiser September 19th. That's a little ways off, but they are going to be doing a lot of fundraising. It's a golf outing and a dinner at Jumping Brook. I had one other question for you, Business Administrator, about Moby chairs. We were wondering how many Moby chairs we had up at the beach. Do you know that answer?
We have, I believe, 4.
4 Moby
And they're at, spaced up between the pier and down to North Boulevard. I think we have 4 that are at certain beach locations, but I can get that answer for you.
Okay, that would be great, because they
Okay.
wanted to know specifically where, so if disabled people were showing up at the beach and needed them, if they knew which beach to go to.
It is on our website,
Okay.
okay, so, but I will get that answer and I'll email the council.
Great, thank you so much for that. And that's really all I have for ADA. The recreation, our next recreation meeting is actually this Thursday at 6:30, so I will report on that next time. And then a couple little things happening around the schools. Belmar Elementary continue to have the field trips. All the schools this week are also celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week, so teacher and staff appreciation is happening in all the schools this week. May 13th is the daddy-daughter dance at Belmar Elementary, and they have field day at the end of the week. St. Rose Grammar School is doing donations for Ukraine on Thursday. They're having a dress-down day and are taking donations for Ukraine. And this Saturday is First Holy Communion for St. Rose Elementary kids, and Thursday the 19th is 8th grade confirmation. And then St. Rose High School, they had their Seussical, which their musical, which was outstanding. It was this past weekend in St. Rose. Their Fine and Performing Arts program is doing a showcase May 19th of all the students' art. It's on display at the high school. It's free admission. The high school pipe band is going to be performing May 14th at the Field of Dreams game, which Mayor Walsifer is going to talk a little bit more about. And that's a big celebration we're going to be having for the 150th anniversary. And lastly, teachers are doing teacher development, and they're trying to work more on their STEM and their STREAM programs. So things are really getting advanced over at the high school with STEM and engineering and all that. So that was good to hear. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I'll just continue on that. The Field of Dreams on May 14th, 10 a.m. in the morning, we'll be dedicating the field. There's a plaque that we'll be presenting a plaque for the field. The dugouts have now been named for the players that played there and went on to be professional players. So they'll be May 14th, 10 a.m. Saturday. Then there's going to be an old-fashioned baseball game, and then the Field of Dreams movie at night. So that should be pretty exciting. I'm just going to refer to Tina for a minute. She is, her and a few of our police officers are doing the ride to Washington, D.C. next week. And Tina, if we can, Tina, our chief, will be riding as well.
Yes, May 9th to May 12th, there's 7 officers from the Belmar Police Department that will join with the New Jersey chapters for the Police Unity Tour. We leave from New Jersey and over a 4-day span ride bicycles down to Washington, D.C. into the Police Memorial, and then we stay there, and it's the start of Police Week down in Washington, D.C. So I'm looking forward to it. This is actually the 10th year that Belmar Police has participated in the tour. It did start with one of our officers that was previously Lake Como. He started it, and then we jumped on after that, but he is now a Belmar police officer, so doesn't really matter, I guess. But we're looking forward to it. We leave extremely early, 5 a.m. on Monday morning to head out on the tour.
All right, great job. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
It's a lot of miles. All right. And then do we have any policing meetings set up?
Yes, actually the sergeants in each zone were in the process of setting them up. They've been sending out emails to the different zones, setting them up. I don't know exactly which ones are when. It's kind of in their hands to set up the meetings, but I believe there's like 2 or 3 next week.
Okay.
So just watch for your emails.
A couple things that I have. It's good to hear that the Tail Pavilion's back. I mean, it was good touch and go, get it done for the end of April, and finally we got the Tail Pavilion back. So that's and Bill and your crew did a great job working with them to get that done, because it was a long time coming after the pipe break. If anybody walks the boardwalk, you'll see all the fireboard signs have been taken off the boardwalk. We're redoing all the fireboard signs. All new signs are going to be going up, but they're replacing the plywood painting and making sure they're all in great shape before the new signs go up. So that hopefully will be up before Memorial Day. 10th Avenue, you'll see some of the construction going on for the clock that's going to be placed down there. So they've started working on that, moving things around, and they're going to start construction on getting that all ready for the placement of the clock. I think, did I have anything else? I think that's it. We talked about yard sales, Lake Como. Yeah, I think that's all I have. All right, so we're going to move on to public session on any of the resolution items. Anybody have any questions on the resolution items?
Maria Ronzanaro, do I need to press, oh, there we go. Maria Ronzanaro, 1246 Pine Tree Way. I just have a question. The resolution that we're looking at is for Neptune to have shared services with us for the EMS, is that correct? Can you explain that to us? Can you give us kind of a narrative of that resolution before you pass it?
It's just to extend it. We had the same resolution last year that we partnered with them, just and we're extending it for another year.
Okay, and what is the fee for them to have that shared service? Because I looked on the resolution, I didn't see that.
There's no fee. There's no fee.
Okay, so then they
Any
share those
Belmar- any
services
Belmar
with us?
residents, It's no cost to any Belmar resident.
What is their time frame that one is, sharing the services over there in Neptune, and when are we offering our services in Neptune?
Well,
there a time that it switches off?
basically, if all of our ambulance is tied up, we'll call them to help us out, but I think it only has happened once in the whole year.
Is it more like a mutual aid?
Yeah,
It's a mutual aid agreement. We have them with the fire department, we have them with the first aid squad. We have mutual aid agreements with the county and the state, so they're all, it's a mutual aid agreement.
So
And
there's
the
not,
reason-
there's
the
not
reason-
certain times where one will help the other more?
No.
Is that right?
no, no.
Okay.
And we do the mutual aids to make sure that our residents get it for free, so.
Okay. I just wanted to also put in my opinion about, we're having this huge construction for 12th Ave in Main to have the EMS building, and it is concerning for me to think that other buildings in the residential part of Maine
I think we're getting a
might
little
be.
off. I think you have to bring that up to a public session, because we're getting a little off of the
Sure.
resolution.
I was just saying that I think that we need to be worried about development and increased traffic, especially by that area of the EMS and by our school. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, April, seeing none?
Can I have a motion to close the public session?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
And I have a motion to approve the resolutions as listed on the consent agenda.
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Rolston?
Yes.
Councilman Carvelli?
Yes.
All right, we have no ordinances tonight, so on to public session. Yes, Lynn?
Linda Sharkus, 4th Avenue. I just want to remind people who aren't on Facebook that on May 14th, we have our Belmar Porch Fest, where we'll have live music at different locations through town. To my understanding, it's been approved by the Belmar administration.
Mr. Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
I can tell you, it's a private event. It's not, the borough's not sponsoring it in any way, really.
Okay.
I'm involved personally because I'm one of the musicians who's performing, and I helped a man named Johnny Comfort, that's his real name. He organized it, he booked the bands, he made the schedule, but mostly all I did was tell him, if these people want to let you use their porch, that's a bad location, don't do that. You have too much traffic, stuff like that.
Well,
But it's not really an official borough event.
I appreciate that, because it was my understanding they got a permit to do this.
No, there's no permit. It's a
Okay.
private event. The private homeowners are doing it all on their own. They're assuming any risk on their own. And they've agreed to allow their porches to be used by the organizer, Mr. Comfort.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. I think it's going to be.
But it should be fun.
I think it's going to be. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, Lois.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Louis Polito, 305 8th Avenue. I'm here in my capacity as a library assistant for the Belmar Public Library. Just wanted to update you a couple of things that's going on at the library. First, I want to start with a big thank you to the DPW for a great job in working with us on our landscaping issues. They came, they took care of our issues really quick and promptly. I'm very thankful for that on behalf of the library. Thank you. The Ukrainian Medical Aid Drive has had a huge response. We are accepting donations that are listed on our website. If you go on our Facebook page, you'll see that some pictures that I posted today of some of the scale of the donations we got. A lot of like combat medical kits, which are designed to help soldiers and civilians that are caught in the crossfire in combat. So we are accepting donations now through Saturday, and they'll be sent up to the Ukrainian Center in Whippany to be shipped out to Ukraine afterwards. So if anyone still wants to donate, they still can, and just drop it off at the library or order on Amazon and have it shipped directly to us. Details are on our website, belmarlibrary.org. Also, I want to extend to everyone here and everyone who hasn't already heard, on May 12th, Thursday, at Taylor Pavilion, soon after the events that you mentioned, is the Belmar Library Cinco de Mayo celebration. Okay, we have a mariachi band, we got food from Celito Lindo coming in, and there'll be a presentation on the history of the Cinco de Mayo. And it'll be a great fun for everyone. It's free, come on down, bring a friend, and we'll have a great old time. So thank you very much. And finally, Pat Roddy concert, the first of the summer concert series, is Thursday, May 19th, 6 o'clock, on the Belmar front lawn, on the library front lawn. Okay, come on down, it's free for everybody, free and open to all. Okay, and finally, I'd like to join you in remembering Tom Burke. Tom Burke was a regular in our weekly bridge club. He came and played and always regaled me with great tales of his time as an antique store dealer. So it was a great, we're all going to miss him. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, Joe.
Joe McAvoy, 700 Main Street. First off, I have a couple questions there. Then I have a statement to read. Then I have something to read to Patrick. So the first question, and anybody can attempt to answer it because Councilman Kraken's not here. Why was the flag in front of Earl Hall at half-mast last Thursday? Anybody?
George?
I was told by Ricky, I forget what it was, but I was told to please put it at half-mast. He told me what it was for, but I did forget. I still remembers.
Yeah, there was no half-mast alert last Thursday from the governor.
The borough subscribes to a website that every day issues us warnings on when the flag should be half-mast or full-mast. So I don't remember exactly what it was for, but if it was at half-mast, it came through the email.
Yeah, there was a half-mast alert in South Carolina for a law enforcement officer that died, state law enforcement officer. But there was no half-mast alert in New Jersey. But we're getting close, because the flag's been up every day since I spoke 2 weeks ago. So we're getting there. Mr. Kirschenbaum, 2 weeks ago, you doubled down on your usual rhetoric. You made the statement that I dislike police officers. I mentioned my godfather, who I got my name from, who was my uncle, who was a career New Jersey State Trooper. I never got to mention that my best friend in Colorado was a police officer as well, that I was best man in his wedding. Police, at least the solid ones, go hand in hand with the military, the good ones, in my experience. When I was a deck NCO at the military police barracks at Camp Lejeune in the 80s for 2 years, I made lifelong friendships with law enforcement officers, some of whom still serve as high-ranking members of SWAT teams, members of the FBI, and even the New Jersey State Police Organized Crime Task Force. I mentioned my godfather, and speaking of godfathers and police officers, my favorite Al Pacino movie wasn't The Godfather, and it wasn't Scarface. It was Serpico. Yeah, a true story about a man in uniform who followed the mantra written on the wall, just a few walls behind this very wall, that says, wrong is wrong,
even if everyone is doing it. And right is right, even if no one is doing it. Another quote that pertains to Frank Serpico, the individual, is, "Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face." Detective Frank Serpico got shot in the face and still went ahead with his plan. Nothing like men in uniform that uphold their pledge, no matter what. Outstanding. Mr. Carvelli and Dr. Kinney, I missed you both 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to address you both tonight, but something suddenly came up. Last Thursday, when I received my ABC card to bartend here in Belmar for the summer part-time, the mayor saw that as a chance to silence me from speaking here at council meetings. He told the co-owner of a local tavern that had already hired me to let me know I needed to stop busting balls at council meetings. He asked me what my name was when I went to finalize my schedule. And when I told him, he said, "I'll let you work here, but you have to stop speaking at council meetings." The mayor, Mark, was in here today and told me no more busting balls at council meetings. Mayor, did you truly think for a minute that my character was for sale? My First Amendment rights? Did you honestly even think I'd talk politics at the bar? I'm a professional bartender. The only people I talk politics and religion at the bar with are my close friends who already know my opinions, and my Marines, because most of them went to war over politics and religion.
First of all, I didn't even know you were a bartender.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I'm going to instruct you not to respond to him whatsoever.
When I worked for a tavern owner, I followed their rules on the job. I bartended at the Tides. I bartended at Patrick's Club, Pat's Tavern. I bartended at Jenkinson's, Martell's. I got plenty of bartending experience. I follow their rules on the job. If I want to talk local politics, I'll do it here at least once a month until the elections. And I'll keep reminding the voters of your ways and persuasion. You would love to make it just about me, but I personally know others you have threatened in town. Folks with much more to lose, hard-working people with families and businesses in town. Also, the other owner, the co-owner, if you will, was the one who asked me to come work there. He approached me. He's a true patriot, supports the troops, and he emigrated to America years ago with a dream of success that this country upheld for him. He achieved that dream rightfully and diligently. He has a manager with 3 sons serving in the armed forces, and she holds down about that many jobs for her family. Marines run on duty and honor, not greed nor fear. This country's in jeopardy because of greed and fear and the two-party system. Globally, Belmar is a microcosm of the national scene. This is the beginning of the end for you politically in this town, regardless of what happens to me. I'm just a messenger. I represent many veterans in this town that are fed up and fearful of what they might do or say. Does anybody have any water, please? What they might do or say, or what may happen to them if they were in my place. Thank you, man. I'm just a point man. There's many behind me. Take a sip here. A little break. We're rolling now. Powerful folks in town that may act like they're aligned with you, that I've gotten confidential correspondence from over the years. I'm simply the messenger, once again, during this pivotal stage in Belmar's history and the world's history, where the collective consciousness of the planet is shifting.
Mr. McAvoy, I do apologize to cut you off, but I need to know, is there going to be a point out of all of this?
Yes, there is.
Because you've been going on for already
No.
a substantial amount of time.
I know what you're trying to do.
Allow me to finish, and I don't want this to turn into a filibuster where we just are reading a whole
It's
novel.
not.
So
It's
I'm
going
gonna ask you to
somewhere.
kindly make your points. Thank you.
You're not gonna get me off my center.
That's fine.
I'm gonna make the statement.
I
This is
said what I had to say.
You have to go to that meeting?
I did.
All right. Well, I'll dismiss you
Thank you.
off.
When I first addressed the flag situation last November 9th on behalf of several veterans and a few firefighters in town who who for months tried to remedy the lack of lights on the Memorial Park flags, but were ignored by the borough's administrator. I spoke on that day last fall, how we were at the lowest point of global conflict in modern history, but that over 70% of the world's governments were moving towards more authoritarian ways. Now, 6 months later, we got the largest humanitarian crisis on the planet since World War II. And whoever thought Australia or Canada were as heavy-handed as they are dealing with their citizens through abuse of their constitutional rights to assemble and free speech. We're now realizing how interdependent we are as a species and how Belmar is a microcosm of this phenomenon. The Great Reset will fail because the Great Awakening has begun as we speak truth to power. Hopefully others will soon come forward. Many will remain apathetic and in the dark. They're the sheep who are fearful of the sheepdog. It doesn't resemble them, acts differently than them, but would never harm them. Its only job is to protect them from the wolves, as the shepherd tends to the flock. I don't expect many to understand Marines. We're a different breed altogether. There are many other sheepdogs running among the flock that you don't see, but you will soon. It's going to be a long, painful process and a long, painful summer for this town, unless others can be persuaded to come forward, or police officers decide to cross that thin blue line and risk their careers for the greater good. The administration will paint me as a malcontent with an axe to grind and try to downplay their own tactics as looking out for the interests of a local business. Even if I had never been in the crosshairs, they would have found other ways to exude pressure on these businesses. Marines have been standing up for honor and against tyranny since 1775. We're the people who show up at your shores when politics and diplomacy fail. And they failed miserably through the last 3 administrations because of the last 2 business administrators. And if the current business administrator could have only listened to the duty experts and the guys on the ground and simply fixed the flag situation at the War Memorial and not lied and let his ego get in the way, not made respecting those who never came back from the wars and the flag a political football like the weak leaders on the federal level or the radicals did, we wouldn't be here today. Council President McCracken, he's not here. If he had any courage, he'd speak out against this type of behavior. Or Councilman Brennan, the only Democrat. He'd recommend an internal affairs investigation of the mayor's discriminatory behavior. This town needs a hero. I'm not it. I'm just a sheepdog. I'm just a messenger. You two, or others, and there's a few I know of, should make it a point to stand and deliver on behalf of the good, law-abiding citizens who have not only been ignored but pushed aside. The very soul of this town is at stake. Chief, there was a time in this town not too long ago that women and men in uniform took care of the flag in front of Borough Hall. It wasn't a chore for them, or even a duty. It was an honor. Veterans of the town, several of them, would like you to accept the storm flag on behalf of the veterans and the military in Belmar currently serving. To fly on typically windy days here on the coast, and in rare days of inclement weather. Not half the month, like last month, because it was a little windy. So I'm going to give this to you, Chief. $132. My ABC card was $100, so I'm behind it.
We can accept that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Veterans thank you, and the active duty military as well. Patrick, we're almost there on U.S. flag code, real close. You know if you're required to fly the POW MIA flag as well?
I do know that you're required to take the flag down in the U.S. flag code for any and all inclement weather.
Do you know the
Which we
definition
were
of
following.
inclement weather?
Windy or having windy, high winds, stormy. It depends on which weather, I guess, geographic advisor that you subscribe to, but the way I read it, the way I interpret it is, if it has a potential effect of having any deteriorating impact on the flag, it should absolutely be taken down.
That's right, and a storm flag should be put up.
Absolutely.
We've been looking into storm flags.
Yes.
Okay, well, you have one now. That'll last you years. That's 2-ply ballistic nylon. Do you know if you're required to fly the POW/MIA flag as well? Did you look into that?
That aspect of it I haven't looked into.
Yes, we know that.
Can I answer that?
We fly it.
If you look in the bucket right out front, I took it down because it's shattered, I bought a new one, it's in Billy's office.
You're not required to fly it, because you're not a federal installation.
Okay.
I just wanted to see if people were checking in on this. So what's next? What's next, Patrick? They're gonna put pressure on my landlord next, use my social security number for fraud or harassment, force a police officer at school to say he saw me in my window next door exposing myself to children, kill one of my cats, plant drugs under my vehicle. I'll be contacting a lawyer tomorrow and law enforcement by week's end. Not to sue or get anyone in trouble. I love my town. I don't want to see it torn apart any more than it's been by these politicians. But we will stay vigilant and protect ourselves. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Mr. McAvoy has just indicated that he will be hiring an attorney and be contacting.
I didn't say I would be hiring
Excuse me,
one. I said
I'm
I would
instructing the
contact
mayor
one.
and council. As he has indicated that he intends to contact law enforcement, this has become a personnel matter for any and all indication, any and all comments that he has made. So regardless of his comments, I'm instructing the mayor and council not return or respond to him verbally.
Good night.
Okay, anyone else? Jane?
Jane Salmon, 1613 Highway 71. So just wanted to make you guys aware with regard to the skate park, of course that's why I'm here. There is a 20-year warranty on the equipment, and I'm not sure if anyone was aware that that is in place. And maybe if you inquired with the original company, they would have made repairs over the years with regard to and honor that warranty. Now that the mini ramp has been somewhat dismantled, that voids the warranty on that particular piece of equipment. The other equipment may still be under warranty, but you'd have to inquire directly with them. So I just wanted to, put that out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
You said 20 years, correct?
Correct,
Thank you.
and it's been 13.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Jerry?
Gerald Buccafasto, 409 Fifth Avenue. First, I'd like to acknowledge and thank the council for letting us stand up here without limits to speak. And I think it's important for all the residents to have that opportunity. Because as some people may or may not know, it's within your power to say, well, we can only speak for 5 minutes or whatever, and you haven't
We do
done
have
that,
an ordinance,
you
but I
know.
don't abide by it.
Right, so that's why I start off with a thank you. And I also want to thank people who do get up and speak, because I think it's important that we have this opportunity, and although it doesn't have to be relevant, as opposed to what Mr. Vargas said, this is the public comment section. So if I want to come up here and talk about the Yankee game, I can talk about the Yankee game. So I think that's important also. And I think it's also important to know that we can do that without fear of any retaliation or intimidation. And, and I'd like to support Joe. I know him for a while, and I know he's an honorable and truthful individual. So, I support him, and I support everyone who has the ability to get up here, because many people won't do that. But, again, thank you for giving us this opportunity, and, I hope it continues.
Anyone else? Yes. Just state your name and address, please.
Yeah, my name is Anthony DeVecca. I live at 60 Main Street in Toms River, New Jersey. I'd just like to piggyback off of what Jane said. have a couple items here. I'd first like to start with the fact that since you guys closed the skate park here, I know it's in disrepair. I also know the business administrator said it's still insured, and the insurance company clarified that it's still insured, and just a matter of making repairs. But in the meantime, we built a skate park in Toms River, and currently a lot of your residents are leaving town and coming and spending their time in Toms River now at our skate park that we built. I just want to push the importance of what skateboarding can do for a community. If you look at Long Branch, Monmouth County built a skate park and then saw the success of it and invested a huge, they just did a huge expansion. Bricktown, New Jersey, built a skate park many years ago, similar to what you guys had, metal ramps, everything else. They went ahead and built a second skate park because it was so beneficial to the community. And then they went back and also repaired the old skate park that they had because they see it as a benefit to the community. Aside from the fact that the kids from town now don't have a place to go, I know that the closing parks is never a good thing. I know that you guys are against that, I'm sure. Skateboarding drives a lot of tourism, okay? I know bringing money to the town and bringing money to local businesses, you know, like tonight, I stopped at Surf Taco and had dinner. I've stopped at the Windmill. I've stopped in at Eastern Lines Surf Shop. I've stopped at Belmar Bicycle Shop. I've stopped at Pro Skateboard Shop. I've stopped at Jersey Mike's, all because of skateboarding. I have no reason to shop here, but when I was coming up here using the skate park and stopping at the local businesses, I hate to say it, but now you're losing all that business, and it's a winter tourism thing. I know your town's big on tourism, you know, the beach and everything, but winter tourism, keeping people coming here to your businesses and your ratepayers is important. And I know I also live in a coastal community that, you know, it's slow in the winter sometimes, but when Toms River built their skate park in August of last summer, it wasn't on the map anywhere. I added it to Google Maps. You all are familiar with the Google information. There was, to date, which is less than a year, 37 weeks ago, 36,000 people clicked on the skate park, which in 37 weeks, that's 1,000 times a week. People are searching for the skate park. Now, I know you may, you know, not see the value in it, but it does bring people to your town. It does put money into your local businesses. It also keeps kids out of trouble. Our skate park is open, and on a Friday night and a Saturday night, when you would think all the teenage kids are getting in trouble, there's dozens of them in the skate park with each other, not out in the streets, not out at parties, not drinking and doing drugs, riding skateboards. It's very critical, and in teenage years is when kids get into trouble. Kids get pulled into gangs, kids get pulled into drugs, they get into parties and all that stuff. You give them a hobby to keep them occupied and eliminate their boredom, especially if they're surfers and there's no surf. You know, that's a big part of the community here. I know that because I live in a coastal town. Those guys that ride surfboards when there's waves, when there's no waves, they're riding skateboards. And if there's no place for them to ride skateboards, they're going to have a lot of idle time on their hands. It's important. And I do understand that you're looking to build a new one, and I think that's great. I also know that I heard from a bird on my shoulder that the company that gave you guys a quote for repairs is also the same company that would be bidding for the new park. So it's a conflict of interest of them to give you an estimate because they're trying to get a bigger contract for a new build. So I would piggyback off what Jane said and maybe reach out to the company that built the ramps, the manufacturer that's still covered by warranty, maybe reach out to them and see what it would cost, because it might not be as much money as you're getting pitched by this other company. I would like to make an OPR request for the bids from that company to clarify that they're not trying to run one over on the taxpayers here, and maybe not, jeopardizing the, asset to your town.
You can make the Oprah request, but we haven't went out for a formal bid yet, so I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I gave the instruction to the business administrator and our finance team to figure out how we can redo it. We have a couple problems down there. One, we can't open up the ground.
I'm aware it's like a brownfield type of thing.
The ground is an issue, just the ground alone, because it's not level. So we're looking at all different options. Our business administrators have been working on it. He's been looking at grants. He's been contacting a lot of people. We're educating ourselves on this whole thing ourselves, but
I actually have.
We want a skate park.
Yeah, I've actually worked with the Tony Hawk Foundation that he's talking about. I've talked to their director personally, because they were involved in getting our park built. But definitely look into the true cost of repairs, because I know that's a limiting thing to you guys. But even said there might be open space money free still. It might not be as much as this company's pitching you, because they have a conflict. They want a contract for a new skate park. They don't want to fix something. If they build concrete skate parks, you want to get a quote from the company that sold it to you in the first place. That it's in their best interest to give you the best price.
We're looking at all that.
That's all I'm asking, is to give it an honest chance, and
Well, when we do make a move, it's going to be the right move, and especially for the taxpayers of Belmar, make sure that we have it right, not just put piecemeal it together again.
I just want to give you guys a little data on the traffic it drives. The
No, I understand.
36,000 people interested in less than a year. I mean, I don't know how many of them actually came to Tom's. A lot of them might have been the people that live here in Belmar that used to use your skate park, to be honest. But there's data proving that it brings people to the town, and I'm an example of that.
Again, no one in this town is against having a skate park. I mean, maybe there's people in the town that are, but no one up on this, no one up here is against having a skate park. And we understand. I have children myself that use a skate park, so we get it, that there needs to be an outlet, and we're working towards it. But again, it's all based on our insurance information and legally what we have to do, but we're working on every angle to try to get it moving on.
Because I heard that it's still insured. I mean, that's a big thing.
No, it doesn't, sorry. Better?
Hello?
Sorry. No, it doesn't change the impact of liability. Just because it's insured or not insured, there's still a cap limit, and there's this statute known as the Torts Claim Act, and it's really more like a compilation, and the specific one is 59-4-2, and it's an unreasonable, dangerous condition of public property because our insurance companies already recognized it. So if we don't protect people from using it, then we're liable. And then you could throw up a sign that says use at your own risk, but that's not sufficient. It's almost like going to your neighbor's pool and saying, hey, I don't have a lifeguard, but you can go swimming in it. Your neighbor's obviously going to be
Like if you
able
let the playground go in shambles and someone got hurt on it.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's kind of the situation where we're at right now.
Gotcha.
And besides insurance, the biggest thing that we don't want to have happen is somebody get hurt.
Right.
And
I mean, we
that's
have
the
people
biggest thing.
concerned with three things, right? Safety, liability, and cost. And I think we're working through all of that right now. Question I have for you, though, is for as busy as Tom's River Skate Park is, do you have any sort of idea of how many people have been injured in that time?
There's a town.
The nature of the injury.
The town has a waiver that people are required to sign to use the skate park.
Mm-hmm.
That waives all responsibility. That's a requirement.
How well does that work?
Yeah.
I know
I
heard rumors that they're building another skate park in town, or a
I just
similar
want to
park.
know like how often people get hurt. Right?
People get hurt, but it's no more than if a kid falls off a slide.
Yeah, I'm talking about like compound fractures and concussions and stuff like that.
A lot of people, people get hurt. It's part of any active sport, but the liability doesn't fall on the town.
Fortunately, my firm also represents the township of Tom's River, so I'm
You disagree.
I'm rocking a hard space right now.
But other towns are building investing in skate parks. The county of Monmouth is investing in skate parks. I mean, if
I
Monmouth County,
understand, I understand
I mean,
all this,
it
and I'm not
can't be
saying
that bad
that
if
any
it's-
of that should cause us to not build a skate park.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that it's clear that we understand what the inherent risks are, and I don't think that we do. Because I don't know how bad people get hurt and how long.
Yeah, and I have a question. So how, if Tom's River isn't responsible, Tom's River is a Tom's River skate park, they have to assume the responsibility and the liability for anybody.
well, what they did is to use the skate park, you have to sign a waiver. And when you sign the waiver, you get a badge to use the skate park. Everyone, and it's posted, everyone's required to sign a waiver that eliminates everything for the town, all liability. It says it right there. You're skating at your own risk, and you've signed this document that you're waiving all responsibility. And so far, I'm not sure, you said you're involved, but that, so far, so good. And I haven't heard any negative things from the...
And under 18, the parents have to sign the form?
Yeah.
And who maintains the forms? Who keeps the records?
Township.
Who polices the skateboard park to make sure?
It's actually unpoliced park.
Is there any posting about helmets required, pads required?
Yeah, there's a sign posting that all the rules, just like any other park.
All right.
What's allowed, what's not allowed. I mean,
you need to understand something, like, even if you post that the helmet's required, pads required, if someone goes in there without a helmet and uses it and injures themselves, they're still gonna sue the town.
But they're also, but on the sign also says that they're required to sign a waiver. And if they don't sign the waiver, then it's...
You know what would be a huge help? If I could see one of those waivers and see what exactly it does, if we could show it to council and see what they think about it,
Yeah, and so
that would be a big help.
The kids have to go to Borough Hall to sign this waiver and then go play at the skate park?
It's right down the street, there's an office that we go...
Okay.
Yeah, or that's a different
This
situation.
is the honor system that every kid's gonna do this?
I don't know, it's a liability thing that the insurance company agreed upon.
Yeah, it's always the devil's in the details. I want you to understand, I want everybody to understand something. No one is debating the value of having a skate park as a part of the community for the people who are going to use it and the people who are going to benefit from it indirectly. We have a responsibility to make sure that that is as safe as possible equipment. We wouldn't put anything out there that we want our own kids going on. And we also have a responsibility to the town to make sure that we use their tax revenues the right way. And a couple of times it seemed like, well, we can pick from, paving this street and replacing their sewers or replacing the skate park. Sometimes it feels like that. And what we're trying to do is make it not be like that. Find other ways to find the revenue to be like grants, and we're definitely doing a lot of work looking into it. A lot of the guidance we're getting is we should definitely look for concrete, which automatically increases the price. But if that's the safest thing, then that's what we want to do, and we just have to figure out how we're going to pay for it.
But if that's something that's down the road, a temporary fix to make it safe to use, you may not want to reach out to the contractor that's looking to build, to make hundreds of thousands of dollars. You might want to reach out to the company that still has part of the park warranty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best for your taxpayer. I'm just trying to help. I'm not.
No,
I'm trying to give you guys.
I really appreciate it. Again, if you could bring us, if we could see a copy of one of those waivers, that'd be a huge help.
I will definitely get it to you.
Patrick, that's all that's that.
I was gonna add something on the waiver. There's one big distinction. If we had a brand new park like Tom's River, that waiver does provide some protection for the township. It provides a substantial amount because the park itself doesn't qualify under the Tort Claim Act when I referenced the reasonable dangerous condition. It's not in reasonable dangerous condition at that point. We have one, so we could put a Band-Aid on it, but the Band-Aid isn't gonna fix the condition.
Right.
It's just gonna say it's
repaired,
less.
if it's no longer, if the insurance company says it's no longer in a dangerous condition.
I can find an engineer who will disagree, and that's the issue. I'm not gonna be able to find an engineer to disagree with me and say that a brand new skate park built perfect to all the specifications is not a dangerous condition. But there will be cases and there will be liability in the event that we repair it and we sit there and we're essentially, I'm gonna keep using the Band-Aid metaphor, because that's really what it is. You're just slapping on Band-Aids to go for another year, slap another Band-Aid and to go for another year. But it doesn't.
That's how we got here.
Yeah, but
That's
it
how we
doesn't-
got here.
Exactly, but it doesn't change the end result. It's still a dangerous condition as recognized by our insurance company. So, best, safest route is to do it the right way the first time as opposed to getting sued and having a catastrophic injury, like God forbid someone dies. I'm not saying how that's how it happens, but I I can imagine somebody jumping up on slipping, cracking their neck, just slamming back, or how much cracking, I mean, I don't know. There are freak accidents, which every time I see one.
That's what
Yeah,
the waiver for the town.
but that doesn't protect when it's an injury triggered by the dangerous condition. The waiver protects against self.
I can tell you.
But if you could.
But no, yeah, I'm gonna bring.
If you could fix the
I
park
can get
within
the
reason.
waiver.
Yeah, let's get the waiver. Let's
Right.
do it.
Here's the thing, I want you to understand, I know 2 young men who have suffered traumatic brain injuries from using skateboards. And their families, their lives are completely different. And I wouldn't wish that on anybody. And personally, I don't want it to take any action that might make it possible for that to happen to somebody. I want the safest park we possibly can have.
100%. Thank you for your time.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Anyone else? Yes, Maria.
Maria Rondonaro, 1246 Pine Tree Way. Do we know how many lawsuits because of injuries Belmar has had because of our skate park?
I believe there was one prior to my firm being assigned as attorneys for the Borough of Belmar, but I wasn't involved, so I really know nothing about it.
Okay,
I remember
maybe,
hearing something about it at some point.
maybe next time we can get that information so we could know, because, I mean, it seems that it's been, how long has your company been representing?
I believe it was in 2019.
4 years.
Okay, so 4 years. So in 4 years, we haven't had a lawsuit because of an injury at the skate park.
When was the skate park shuttered?
Well, it was closed for COVID.
COVID, so that brings us back to February 2020.
Like early
Yeah,
2020.
I think it was before that, so maybe a year or something there, you know.
Okay, so
I
it's
mean,
been
we
on and
ship
off
them
open.
Right, like we ship the lawsuits off to the insurance company.
Yeah, they all go to the insurance company. The insurance company could deny coverage theoretically, and then we'd have to get into declaratory action. We'd get into that discussion, because I'm going off kilter.
Let's not do that.
I mean,
No, I agree.
I don't disagree that we want to make sure that we have the safest skate park around. I just want to make sure that we don't wait, that this is a priority. I do remember our business administrator saying that this is something that would have to be long-term planning. And we'd like this, as a community, at least the people that I've spoken to would like to fast-track that planning. And is it possible? Have we looked into the manufacturers?
Yeah, I think the business administrator has been looking into all of this. He looked into the Tony Hawk Foundation, he's been looking into the grants. He's more also on the side of how can we do this cost effectively. So like
Right.
he's looking at funding.
But what about the warranty? Do you know what he came back
We
with
don't
that?
deal directly with that. We'll let the business administrator check into that.
Okay, yeah, if he could report that back to us, that would be helpful at the next
This isn't
meeting.
gonna be, we're hoping it isn't gonna be long-term. That's the bottom line. We're all trying to hope and push for this to move quicker.
Good. I mean, I have sidewalks on my street. There's a whole bunch of, streets that have, huge potholes, things that can be dangerous to kids, pedestrians. I'm not saying that that's, reason that we should make sure that we need to make sure we have a safe park. But let's not hide behind injury that can happen at all times. And I mean, we are in a coastal town. There's ocean injuries regularly.
There's immunity under the Torts Claim Act for that.
Okay. Well, I'm glad there's immunity, but people do get hurt, right? And that's what at least the council is saying they care most about. So, I just want to remind us as we're looking at injury and risk, that this town is part of that. And we also have the right to take our own risks as well. So thank you.
Anyone else? Yes.
Mike Sahaki, 112 18th Avenue. I had the opportunity to run to the mayor yesterday about traffic on the one-way streets, and you agreed to address it. Basically, when you drive down 14th, 16th, 18th Avenue, cars stay to the left, even if they're making a left turn. So I propose drawing a line with 2 arrows to make it simple, and you say you'll talk to DPW.
Our DPW supervisor, but what he's looking for is maybe you can take a look at that. When you get down to the end of 16th Avenue, put an arrow each way because they're coming over and blocking all the traffic for people making right turns. when they get down to Ocean Avenue, instead of blocking it all up, if they were making a left, they move over to the left.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
If there's an
to the right,
16th
even if
Avenue
they make a
County
left turn, they
Road, so I'm
have
not
to
sure
wait
what
for
we'll have to do,
clear
but-
traffic
Right.
from
We'll just take a
Ocean
look at it and
Avenue
see
to
if we
make a
can-
left.
I don't even know if there's enough room to do it, but
Right.
you guys can take a look at it.
The other idea I had about parking is some of the wider streets, just like Avalon, they have diagonal parking, which would accommodate a lot more cars. And I know we have a parking issue here. So maybe we could look into a trial period for a street or two, just to do diagonal parking. It'll accommodate a lot more cars than the parallel.
There is a uniform traffic code, so whatever fits in there, it requires certain widths of roads and all that, so they gotta look at that. But for any of those changes like that, you have to follow the uniform traffic
I
code.
understand. Avalon has it, so far as streets are just.
I think they have fairly wide
They're
streets.
wider.
They are wide.
They are wider.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, parking is always a premium, so we could do it, I'm sure we would.
Sorry.
And it's around the lake, so I know that they're trying,
Maybe they're
Silver
trying.
Lake, it's all diagonal over there, but sure, if we could do it, we should, right?
All right.
That's a good idea.
Appreciate your time.
George?
George Comitas, 111 Third Avenue. On the skate park, I've always been in favor of the skate park. I'm at all the events at Bar A. I even won a skateboard. My daughter skates all the time. The young man from Tom's River, that sounds like a good idea. If you can get something to sign. Being on the first aid, I took at least 40 kids in the 10 years to the hospital. Maybe 5 compound fractures. Most kids were pretty good. Also, was the cleaning up. I would ask the kids, can you clean up the mess? Because I would try to keep the place clean. And they would tell me, you wear the yellow, it's your job. So, I mean, we see things all over the place. But again, they're kids, I understand. But I did try to keep that. I would go there with a blower once a week. I would try to do what I could, but the kids were kind of disrespectful to me. Skateboard Bob is a great guy, so I want to support him. And I love skateboards. They scare me in the ocean. But I just, listen, skateboarding is a great sport. There is the guy from Pearl Jam. I don't know if you can reach out to him. He builds skate parks, but mostly for Native American communities. But I forget his name.
Well, so I actually have a question. So of the people, the injuries you would transport, was this in a period of time where we had the requirements for the helmets and everything?
Even when I would ask the kids to wear their helmets, I'm not going to say what they said. Listen,
No, but were you showing up and were they injured and wearing protective gear?
Percentage-wise, I don't know what it would be, but a lot of children don't wear helmets. Listen, I wear a helmet on a bike because
I know, I see. You're always yelling at me.
I believe in helmets. I'm going to be like Tom Brennan, the one kid that got hurt. He's a personal friend of mine, his mother. He never wore a helmet, and he was out of it for 2 years. So, to me, a helmet's a big deal. But again, signing the waiver, I know we didn't do that here. But I want anything great for the town. I love skateboarders, and I don't want to see Bob. I want Bob to make money. I want people to come to Belmar and enjoy the skate park. Even my nephew, he skates all the time, and he just got crushed like 3 months ago and got from the hospital. It's a sport. My whole body hurts from football and all the other dumb things.
Thanks, George. Anyone else? All right, April, seeing none?
Can I have a motion to close the public session and adjourn?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you for everyone coming in.